Race 2 for the Libre Saloons is about to get underway. We're here in the assembly area, cars all lined up, we've got a fantastic grid. Let's not forget the 330 class as well, the BMW's joining them on track this race. James Turkington, third in race 1. Can he make it first place in this race? Let's find out. Here's Andy McEwen with race 2.
Thank you, Anthony. Yep, cars are on the grid. They lined up for this one based upon their second fastest qualifying lap times. So, whereas in race 1 it was Andrew Armstrong on pole position, this time around it will be James Turkington ahead of Andrew Armstrong, with Ulick Burke and Stephen Traub on row 2, Aidan Vance and Donald O'Neill on row 3. Then Neil White and Tony Traub on the 4th row. Ralph Jess and Paul Sheridan are next, ahead of Alan Stewart and Greer Ray, with Pete Murray and Keith Ray at the back of the grid. Well, we saw lots of exciting racing in race number 1, and James Turkington, who lost those vital championship points to his championship rival in the first race, he could do with trying to snatch the race victory this time around. What is going to happen over the course of our second race of the day for the Libre Saloons? Away we go, and it's not a great start by Turkington. It is a phenomenal start, though, for Stephen Traub, who will take the lead down towards turn number 1. We're on board there with Ulick Burke, who's gone through into second position, our race 1 winner, and immediately goes on the attack, trying to go around the outside of the erstwhile race leader. I think the Integras are going to swap positions heading in towards Colonial for the first time, and it should be our race 1 winner, Ulick Burke, who has the race lead as they arrive down towards Fisherman's. Let's see. Yes, it is. But here comes Andrew Armstrong round the outside of both of them to try and get into the race lead himself. Yes, he's done it. So 3 corners and 3 different race leaders, 1 BMW off in the background. It's all kicking off here. James Turkington is up into 3rd position, but he could do with finding a way past Ulick Burke here and going after his big title rival Andrew Armstrong. If they finish as they are at the moment, Armstrong will take the championship lead, so James Turkington will be desperate to try and move through into 2nd place and get onto his tail. So it's BMW from Honda from Seat, your top 3, as they descend upon the hairpin for the first time. Look how close together they are. Then it's Traub, Stephen Traub in 4th, 5th position then for Aidan Vance, and 6th position for Donald O'Neill. The rest of them cycle through. There's the BMW that ran wide on the first lap, but the leader's already out of debtor's dip for the second time of asking, and it is all about the fight for second at the moment, with James Turkington trying to find a way ahead of Ulick Burke, who sort of ran off into the distance in race 1. Andy Armstrong didn't seem to have anything for him, and we never really got to see what James Turkington could do, because of course James started from the back of the grid in race 1. Well, this time around he had the pole position, but a front-wheel drive car surrounded by the rear-wheel drive BMW in particular of Andrew Armstrong was never likely to get off the line that well. Ulick Burke, although his car is front-wheel drive, he just seems to have that, the race starts down to a T, doesn't he? He got off the line really well in race 1 to lead, and briefly led in race number 2 as well. Down the straight, we're on board with Ulick in 2nd position, chasing down the BMW out in front of him as he hits the brakes. It gets all crossed up under braking there, locking up the brakes into the hairpin. Did a good job to save that one. Takes a nice tight line out of the corner, trying to defend from the Cupra, which must be around here somewhere. He's looking to his left. Where is James Turkington? Is he close enough to have a go down towards the first corner? If Ulick Burke turns in, which he does, that means the Seat is not alongside, and indeed you can see that from the outside there. So it is the 2 yellow and black cars leading the way, with James Turkington in 3rd. 4th position there is still Stephen Traub, and then a big old gap back to everybody else really. And here is the resumption really of the battle that we had in race 1 between the 95 Honda of Aidan Vance and the Seat Cupra, number 33 of Donald O'Neill. Donald O'Neill was dicing away, wasn't he? 95, yes, 95 Aidan Vance. Donald O'Neill behind. Donald in race 1, if you remember, was racing with Tony Traub in the 83 Honda Civic. Well, now he's got another Honda Civic to play with. And he's looking to the inside, down towards the John Crossley chicane. He can't get through there, though. So O'Neill will settle back in line for the time being, and then make their way down the back straight towards the hairpin, and these 2 fighting for 5th position overall. So O'Neill having a much better start to this race than he did in race number 1. First of the BMWs, by the way. Running a bit further behind them, I believe, is still our race 1 winner in the BMWs, Paul Sheridan. So right on board across the start finish line, get a unique view of this Kirkistown circuit. Lift there going into turn 1, maybe dentist dip. Pretty bumpy corner, of course, and then these saloons with a slightly higher centre of gravity than some of the single-seaters and sports cars that are racing here this weekend. They don't quite have the mid-corner speed of some others. Some of them take a bit more easily through high-speed turns. Down towards Fisherman's now. This more technically demanding corners on the circuit goes on and on forever, and then run out onto the curb on the exit. Ready back markers starting to become a factor, so the headlights are ablaze now for Andrew Armstrong, the race leader, as he closes in on, I think that's Alan Stewart's BMW. Look at how close it is for second place though. James Turkington is all over the back of Ulick Burke's Honda Integra as they come across the start finish line. You can see in the mirrors there that Turkington was alongside, but the Integra has more straight line speed. There's a back marker in front there. They're going to catch it going through Debtors Dip. This is not a good place to catch a back marker, and luckily it stays well out of the way, but that did just hold up Ulick Burke a little bit. I think he had a feather off the throttle, and James Turkington is right there with him again, almost pushing the Integra through the right-hander. This is proper saloon car racing now, and James Turkington can see his championship rival escaping up the road. Look how much later he is on the brakes. I think Ulick Burke is just struggling a bit with the brakes of that Integra. We saw him locking up down at the hairpin earlier on, and now a little bit circumspect into Fisherman's as well. So James Turkington relishing the chance to be starting at the front of the grid this time around and racing against his usual rivals. They get onto the straight, and that Integra is something else in a straight line, isn't it? Down towards the braking zone they go. Let's watch for maybe James Turkington to have a go under brake. You can see there again the Integra locking up the rear brakes. Now surely Ulick Burke ran out wide that time. He did a little bit. Where is James Turkington? There he's not to the inside line. He might possibly have got alongside to the left-hand side of us, but Ulick Burke should have the power down the straight to fend him off. Fascinating racing this between the two of them. They're two cars that have very different strengths and weaknesses. There's no doubt that the Seat of James Turkington is handling a little bit better, but the Integra is most definitely the quicker car in a straight line, and this is one of those circuits that, although it has got long straights, there are enough corners that you can make it work if you've got a car that's better chassis-wise than it is engine-wise. But it's always very difficult to overtake a car that is better down the straights than you, because most of the overtaking opportunities on a racetrack tend to come at the end of a long straight. Turkington there with a good exit from the John Crossley chicane there. Then you see edges alongside briefly, and then the Integra just lights the afterburners, pulls away down the straight, and I don't think James is quite close enough under braking, but you can see there he's much later on the brakes. The Cupra dancing around a lot less under braking there than the Integra was. But it's always difficult to get past a car if it just runs away from you in a straight line, because by the time you get to the next braking zone, you're not close enough to do anything with it. All you can do is get back on their tail rather than actually have a go at getting through. You can see there how much more speed that James takes into the corner, but then he just can't go anywhere with it, because wherever he wants to be, there is a Honda Integra already in the way. So down into the right-hander of Fisherman, you can see again, he gets that tighter line, uses all of the curb. James Turkington, as I said, his brother, a double British touring car champion, but James himself forging out a career in motorsport himself. Brother Colin, though, renowned for his great overtaking, but always clean overtaking, and that's definitely something he'll have passed on to James, I'm sure, who is you sense maybe getting a little frustrated here. He knows he's quicker, but can't quite find a way through, but trying to resist the urge to use the bumpers. Battle's going on further back, or is that an ailing Honda Civic? I fear it might well be. It was certainly a change of position there, wasn't it? That was Neil White going through. Neil White, who I believe is second place within the BMWs at the moment in this race, and he just went past the 83 of Tony Traub. Now, Tony Traub ran a lot better than this in race one, so I do think there might be some sort of an issue there, possibly for Tony. Although he's back up to speed again now, down the back straight. BMW has to take the defensive line, and Traub now tries to draw to the outside. Under braking they go. And the BMW, I think, will just about hang on to the position for the time being. Back out of Debtors Dip, though, comes this battle, and still Tony Traub struggling to try and find a way through. Not really close enough at this part of the circuit, though, you'd have to say, to build up a genuine challenge. But White, that BMW in front of him, running well. And White was... where was he in race number one? Neil White, Con Brady. He's running within the saloons, not the BMWs. So he's in a BMW, but he's in the saloon category. And he was seventh and last in the saloons in race one. Car does seem down on straight line speed, doesn't it, though? The Civic is able to pull back alongside again as it goes down towards the hairpin. In the background, look, you can see the leaders are coming. Andrew Armstrong there with his headlights ablaze in the BMW. then a back marking BMW, and then this fight for second place still between Ulick Burke and James Turkington. Ulick Burke looking to the inside of the BMW there. Ooh, I thought for a moment the back mark was going to turn in. That's definitely compromised Ulick's run through the corner. He's glancing with some concern into the mirrors, but he has enough straight line speed to pull back away again down the straight. That's not to take anything away from Ulick Burke. I know it sounds like I'm insinuating that he's not really having to try very hard to hold on to the position, but any mess up whatsoever through the corners, and James Turkington will be right on him. So Ulick Burke, yes, he's got the advantage in a straight line, there's no doubt about that, but that's not the only part of the circuit where he's doing well. He's driving the car well as well. It's Tony Schraub, turning back through. John across the chicane, bound to go a lap down now as well, and there's a BMW pulling off to the side of the road. Now that, I fear, was Alan Stewart again, wasn't it? Yes, Alan Stewart pulling off. We had a non-start for Keith Ray in this race as well. Keith Ray didn't finish the first race either, so a couple of drivers who were troubled within the BMW element of the race. Also troubled in race 2. Here we are side by side again, and Ulick Burke definitely troubled in this one at the moment, because James Turkington is applying all sorts of pressure. The thing for James here is that he can see that Andrew Armstrong is not that far up the road, and if only he could get past Ulick Burke, James will probably feel that he could go after the race leader and championship rival, but he just can't quite find a way through to second, and now there are back markers getting in the mix as well. Now, if James Turkington finishes in third place, he will lose the championship lead to Andrew Armstrong. In fact, if he finishes second, he will lose the championship lead to Andrew Armstrong as well. So, unless he can win the race at this rate, James is going to lose the championship lead. But it will be a matter of how many points he loses it by. Essentially, if he finishes third, then he will score 8 points less than the race leader. If he finishes second, he will score 5 points less than the race leader. So it's definitely worth it in a championship that is this tightly contested. Down towards the end of the back straight they go again, and still the Integra hanging on, and then we've still got this Civic and BMW battle going on, and the Civic up the inside this time. Tony Traub trying to find a way past Neil White. I think he might have made that one work. There is the other one of our Integras, that's Stephen Traub. The white, red and black car just turning into the hairpin now, who finished 4th place in the Saloons in race 1. He's running 4th in this one as well. Was lost out to James Turkington about halfway through that first race. This time around, James is on the tail of another Integra and finding it an awful lot harder to find a way through. Ulick Burke, our race 1 winner, is defending this position really quite nicely, it has to be said. Turkington much quicker off the chicane though that time, he gets himself alongside. Oh, there's almost contact between the two of them. Now, can James do something with this? He's on the outside line down towards the hairpin, but he might still be alongside. No, he's not alongside as they hit the brakes. He'll be alongside on the brakes though, because he can brake so much later than the Integra, but there's nowhere to go. He's forced to the outside line. Not able to find a way through. Ulick Burke in his first outing in the championship this year as well, so won on his first race of the year. James Turkington, of course, has been competing all season long, had a non-finish and a non-start in the meeting at the start of May here. Can't afford another non-finish, that's for sure. But at the same time, there's a second place in the offing here. I think he maybe has to accept he's not got time to catch the race leader now, but a second place would still be better than a third place. 3 points better, to be precise. Not in championship contention, that will be making it all the more frustrating for James Turkington. If Ulick hadn't turned up this weekend, then James would have been in a comfortable second place and possibly even on the tail of the race leader, because you do sense that Burke is holding him up slightly. They go past the ailing car of Alan Stewart, whose mechanical woes have been blighting him all weekend long, it would seem, as he continues to try and stay out of everybody's way. James Turkington nearly got up the inside, he launches to the inside at the last second under braking, but he was too far back. It was more just to try and distract Ulick Burke than actually force his way through, I think, that one. Burke, I think, has this one more or less covered now, unless he makes a mistake or gets tangled up in traffic, or James Turkington can get really inventive with his overtaking methods. I just don't see anywhere where the Cooper is going to go through. And in towards Colonial again. Double apex off-camber, bumpy right-hander, then flicking back through the left again, and then into Fisherman's far end of the circuit. Down towards the John Crossley chicane, and James Turkington is in his element through this part of the circuit, but then you see he carries all that momentum off the corner and just can't go anywhere with it. His best hope is to sort of draw alongside down the straight and try and force Ulick Burke to defend maybe, or this, which is a late lunge up the inside, and he's braking as late as he dares, but again, doesn't want to risk contact. He's trying to keep this as clean and as fair as possible. Well, there is the Honda Civic that we mentioned earlier on. That's Aidan Vance, who's running in the 5th position. He's seen off the challenge, it would seem, of Donald O'Neill in the Seat Cooper for the time being. Donald's really back actually, so yes, he's really pulled away now. He's in a league of his own really in this 5th position. Coming up against the 395 BMW of Paul Sheridan. Out of the final corner, Sheridan takes a pretty tight line out of the turn then, but gets through okay, no major dramas. Just that tight line can be taken sometimes and try and shorten the run through the final turn. But he's under no real pressure from behind, so won't be worrying too much about that. Now, here's a man who is under a lot of pressure and has been since the race started pretty much. Ulick Burke, running in 2nd position at the moment, only about 3 seconds or so behind the leader as we start the final lap of the race now. And Ulick Burke chasing down this man, but actually has never really had anything for him. Andrew Armstrong, although he struggled to keep up with Ulick in race 1, in this one he's pulled away and taken full advantage of the battling going on behind, and Andrew Armstrong is looking for good to take another race victory. This would be his 4th victory in 6 races, his 4th of the season, but his 4th in the last 6 races as well. It's been a really good run, and the other 2 races that he's not won, he has finished in 2nd place, so you can see why he's going to become the championship leader, because not only has he been consistent, but he's been consistently quick as well. The fight for 2nd is going to go right down to the wire, but there is traffic that could possibly have an influence in all of this. Ulick Burke defending the inside line, locks up again. James Turkington goes to the outside, but I don't think he's going to get there. Ulick Burke squares off the exit of the corner. It's the drag to the line, but we know that that car's got the straight line speed to cope. It is a race win for Andrew Armstrong, and it is a 2nd place for Ulick Burke, and a really hard-fought 2nd place as well. James Turkington pushed him all the way, couldn't quite get there. So it is Andrew Armstrong who wins by just over 3 seconds in the end from Ulick Burke and James Turkington, and Armstrong takes the championship lead. Stephen Traub, Aidan Vance, Donald O'Neill, Tony Traub and Neil White round out the saloon finishes. Only 2 finishes in the BMWs this time around. Paul Sheridan was a lap clear of Greer Ray, whilst Alan Stewart and Keith Ray both failed to reach the end.
Andy, firstly, congratulations, 1st place. That's the win you were looking for this weekend.
Yep, that was slightly more convincing that time. Got a good enough start, not as good as we'd like, but I managed to go into the lead on the 2nd corner, and while James and Ulick then battled it out, it let us get away into the lead and try and maintain a bit of a gap. I think they were fighting pretty hard the whole way through, so that let us maintain that gap. And yeah, got some good points.
It put a smile on your face seeing them scrapping behind you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite happy to see them wheel to wheel the whole race and just make my life a bit easier. Because yeah, they're both very, very quick this weekend, and I think if they had one good by the other and started closing me in, it might have been a bit closer towards the end. So I was glad to see that flag.
Well, it's great points haul for the championship. Congratulations.
Yep.
Go and enjoy it.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Ulick, it was the 1st yesterday, 2nd place today. That was a hard race, no power steering.
Absolutely. Went going into the first corner and went off the track completely. Thought it was over, hit the wheel on the front right, a serious smack. So I thought, to be honest, I was going to be pulling in after the first lap, but so I did chance another one and felt okay. So lucky enough it lasted, thank God.
How are your arms feeling?
Sore enough now, I haven't got to work out like that in a while.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations. It was a tough race. It's come away with the podium. Brilliant. Well done.
Thank you very much.
James, after the technical difficulties yesterday, to come away with the podium, you've got to be happy.
Yeah, I think we had a solid start. We obviously started a pole, and when you start pole, you obviously want to try to win, but that just wasn't the beat today. So yeah, consolidate the points and move on to the next one.
And where are you losing the ground? It looks like you're not quick enough on the straights.
Yeah, we just lacking that wee bit of straight line speed in comparison to other guys, and then we catch them up really quickly through the corners, but by that stage they're too far gone to make a late lunge. So yeah, we'll come back and try again.